Hey boys, it's Arm9. Today we're going to be going over 10 of the best cars that Rockstar removed with the addition of the Los Santos Mercenaries DLC. It's very unfortunate that these cars were removed, but I wanted to highlight some of the best ones that were removed from being able to be purchased on Southern San Andreas, Legendary Motorsport, and other websites. This list is pretty subjective. These are some cars that I really like that I'm going to miss being able to buy very much. Hopefully Rockstar goes back on what they've done and actually re-releases these cars back into the game, because that is what they should absolutely do. This video is partly to raise awareness of what Rockstar has done, but it's also to give you guys ideas of some of the best cars that you should be looking out for in the coming weeks if they do not reverse what they have done. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it with number 10. At number 10, we have the Pfister Comet SR. Now, the Pfister Comet SR is a pretty good Porsche in Grand Theft Auto Online. We just used this in a Top Gear challenge that Twingo and NPC and I did not very long ago, and it is one of the fastest sports cars in Grand Theft Auto Online. It currently ranks as the 7th fastest sports car around a circuit, which is pretty good. It's high praise for this car, and it's very unfortunate that you're not able to buy it now and actually use it in these sports class races unless you already own it. Obviously, this is very annoying. The car does have some great acceleration, some pretty good handling as well, and overall I would say the look of the vehicle is quite nice. It's got some good customization, and overall it is just a very good car that you should definitely look into getting whenever it is available for purchase again. Again, very unfortunate that it's gone, but nonetheless, purchase this thing when you have the opportunity to do so. At number 9, we have the Lampadaddy Tigon, or Tigon, depending on how you want to say it. This was added in 2020 with the Los Santos Summer Special DLC, so it's only 3 years old and it's already been removed out of the game. I think that's absolutely insane. It's got some pretty nice customization, and I really customized it for the first time not that long ago on my channel, and I was very impressed with this car. I think it's actually one of the, cooler cars in GTA. It kind of reminds me of a Pagani a little bit, but it also kind of reminds me of like some older Ferraris and stuff. It's a very neat car, and it's definitely one that you should look into picking up whenever it comes back on sale, whether that's in Simeon's dealership or the luxury autos or wherever it may be. It has some pretty good acceleration. It is in the supercars category as well. The top speed is pretty decent, and the handling is quite nice. The customization options are also quite unique for the Tigon, because it is sort of a retro car, but it's also kind of a modern car at the same time, which I think puts it in a really unique position in GTA. Overall, the Tigon is definitely a great car. I'm going to miss being able to purchase it for sure. Luckily, I still have the one that I customized recently, so I am going to hold on to that one for a very long time, that's for sure. At number 8, we have the Vapid Riata. This is one that is going to be really hard to say goodbye to for a lot of the off-roading community in GTA, a lot of the truck community in GTA. The Riata is a pretty heavily liked vehicle in GTA, and it's going to be, well, it's obviously ridiculous that we can't purchase it anymore. It's got some really good customization. Its rock crawling capabilities are pretty great as well. The ground clearance that this thing has is like almost insane. Like, it's kind of like a Sand King, but it's just like a very small vehicle. It kind of reminds me of a Ford Bronco a little bit, which I'm sure it is based off of to a degree. It's got a lot that you can do to it. It went for about $385,000, I believe, which is not a bad price either, especially considering the performance that you get when it comes to off-roading. For such a big truck, it was pretty fast. The handling was okay. The only thing that it really sort of lacked was being able to stay on all 4 wheels. It was kind of top heavy because it was so high up in the air, but still, it was a great truck for sure. And it definitely is a very good off-road adventure truck, and if it ever comes back into the game, whenever it does, you should definitely purchase it. That's it for the Vapid Riata at number 8. On to number 7. And here we are, we have the Volcar Feijoa. I'm not saying it how you would say it because I don't want somebody to take a very convenient clip of me saying a slur. So it's the Feijoa as far as I'm concerned. This car was removed from GTA, and honestly I think this is a sad one because this thing never got the appreciation that I always felt like it deserved. It was always such a good car and very underrated, and I think that there's a lot that you could do to the Feijoa to make it very unique and very like clean looking. I really liked my build that I had with this thing. I still have it. I say had. I still have the vehicle, so I'm at least I'm okay, but it makes me sad because other people aren't going to get to experience this car, and not that many people got to experience it in the first place. It's such a good vehicle, but unfortunately you can't purchase it now. So highly unfortunate, but it is what it is, I suppose. It doesn't have very great performance. The customization is really what makes or breaks this thing. Overall, for a lot of people, I feel like it could be a very disappointing vehicle, but if you're a car guy and you like, clean looking builds of older vehicles, I think that the Feijoa is one of the best in the entire game. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to number 6. At number 6, we have a car that I have pretty recently discovered and is actually one of my favorite cars in the entire game. And this is the Ocelot Locust. And this is one that I'm actually really pissed off that it's out of the game, because the Ocelot Locust is truly a great car in GTA Online. It is one of the best handling cars in the entire game. And I'm really sad that I only discovered it about a year ago, because it really is just such a good little underrated car for cruising around in free mode in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, you're not going to win any races with this thing, but the main focus of the car is that it's light and it handles very well. The acceleration also complements the car very, very decently. It's rear wheel drive, but it handles like perfectly. Like, it's hard to get this car to spin out, and it just feels so good when you're driving it. The Locust is a car that I'm gonna be sad about for a very long time, that it's not, just right there to be purchased by anybody who wants it. It really is such a good car, and I think that it's just a crying shame that it's not in the game anymore, but it is what it is, I guess. So that's it for the Ocelot Locust at number 6. On to number 5. And at number 5, we have another Ocelot car, and this is the XA21. The XA21 is I would say a fan favorite in GTA. I think a lot of people really like the Ocelot XA21, and it's one of the best sounding supercars in the entire game, if not maybe the best sounding supercar in the entire game. It shares a sound very similar to the Sterling GT, but it's actually more so like the Lampadati Komoda or the Ocelot Jugular, another Ocelot vehicle, of course. The XA21 is in the supercars category. It's all-wheel drive. It is a former top 10 fastest supercar in the game, meaning that it has very, very good performance still to this day, and in free mode, it is an absolute blast to drive. The customization of the car is pretty decent as well. Overall, it is just a very good car, and it is a crying shame that we cannot purchase this thing anymore. It went for just under $2.4 million, which was a little bit of a steep price, I won't lie, for the car, but you did kind of get what you paid for with it. At release, it was one of the fastest supercars in the game, and it was actually very good for racing. It has an active rear spoiler, and it's just such a good looking car. I feel like it's so good looking. So for it to be out of the game now, very, very sad. But alas, nothing we can do unless Rockstar goes back on it. So, on to number 4. At number 4, we have the Enus Paragon R that was added with the Casino DLC into Grand Theft Auto Online. The Paragon R is phenomenal. It is such a cool car. I really, really do like the Enus Paragon R. I actually recently used it in a Top Gear challenge with Twingo and NPC, and it absolutely dominated the competition. It is a very, very good car at its price point of $905,000. It's got some great customization. It's super realistic looking. It's all-wheel drive. It feels very heavy, but the handling is somehow very good, and the weight doesn't seem to pull it into the corner. It seems to, hold its own pretty well. A lot of the customization that you could do to it really complements the overall look of the car, and it's absolutely phenomenal. There's also an armored version that you can get for completing the casino missions, and I think that's the only way to get a Paragon R now, but it's going to be the armored version, so it's very sad to see. But the Enus Paragon R is definitely a great car. It's definitely one to look out for whenever it gets re-added back into the game. It's one of those cars that can look good in every single color that you put it in, with pretty much any customization option that you put on it as well. So good looking, such a good car. Definitely something that I would recommend picking up as soon as it comes back into the game, whenever that may be. At number 3, we have an OG supercar, which was very sad to see this one go. This one is just, it just hurts at a certain point, because it's of course the Entity XF, and this has been in the game since 2013. It's been in the game since launch. At one point, this was the fastest supercar in the game. It beat out the Adder, and it was very, very good for racing. It was like the flex car, honestly. At one point in GTA, the Entity XF, I think it's $785,000 for that thing. If not, it's $795. So it was a little bit cheaper than the Adder, about 200 grand cheaper, which at the time was a lot of money. And it outperformed the Adder as well. It's based off of a Koenigsegg Agera, or maybe a CCX, depending on, which sort of part you're looking at on the car, but Koenigsegg's look relatively similar no matter what. But the Entity XF is just it's a fantastic car, and for it to be taken out of the game is very, very sad. It actually had some customization options as opposed to the Adder, which is my favorite car, but it has no customization. And at release, the Entity XF was just, it was the car. It was the car until the Grotti Turismo came out, which, yeah, it's just sad to see the Entity XF not be purchasable right now. That's just crazy to me. It's such an OG, you know, iconic car from GTA, and it's locked behind a paywall now, essentially, whenever it gets added to the Vinewood Car Club or whatever the GTA Plus thing is. So, anyway, whatever. Let's move on to number 2. And at number 2, we have the Annis S80RR. The Annis S80RR is a top 10 fastest supercar in Grand Theft Auto Online, which you can no longer get, which is extremely annoying because I think it currently ranks on last gen as, if not the 4th, maybe the 5th or 6th fastest supercar around a circuit. It's insanely good. It's got some really high downforce. It's got some nice customization options. It's basically the Annis RE7B, but just on steroids, kind of. It's just better in every single way. And the Annis RE7B is also out of the game now too, which is, you know, a bonus car that I'm going to talk about here. Both of these cars are absolutely fantastic. High downforce, you know, full-blown race cars. And both of them are out of the game now. And it's just, it's so sad because they're really the only two like Annis like supercars in GTA that really, you know, stood any sort of a chance when it came to racing in this game. And for them to be both removed out of the game, I think it's just very, very sad. It's very, very sad. And, you know, a lot of people are going to miss the Annis S80RR, especially those of you who have sold it recently or anything like that for, you know, maybe new cars or whatnot. Not having it is gonna suck for sure. It's definitely going to be one of those cars that I think a lot of people are going to miss, and it's just unfortunate. The performance of that thing is so good. When I was driving it here in this clip, I was like, man, this thing is so good. I cannot believe that people are not going to be able to purchase this car and drive it for themselves. Like, phenomenal car in so many different ways, and it's just so sad. It's so sad that you can't get this thing anymore, but hopefully it comes back to Simeon's dealership or the Luxury Autos dealers relatively soon, so that you guys have an opportunity to purchase it if you don't have one already. And the number one vehicle that you know, is the worst thing that Rockstar has done to the game with this reduction in the car pool size, it is of course the ability to purchase the Canis Seminole. Now I can already hear you guys who are casuals or who maybe aren't used to my channel saying, the Canis Seminole? You can just steal that off of the street, and that's where you're wrong. Stealing a Canis Seminole from somebody who already owns a Canis Seminole is completely sacrilegious. So unfortunately, nobody's going to be able to get a Canis Seminole anymore because you're not allowed to steal them. I've put that law into place in the world of GTA, and not being able to get this thing in a legal and ethical way is it's gonna suck. I don't know how people are gonna go without the Canis Seminole being purchasable in online. Like, Rockstar, if Rockstar's gonna fix anything, at least put the Canis Seminole back on Southern San Andreas Super Autos. Because, come on, man. Why? Why would you take the Canis Seminole away? It's the greatest car in all of GTA Online. It's faster than the Krieger around a supercar racing circuit. It can take 7,000 homing missiles, 2,000 RPGs. It can go underwater. It can fly. It's the greatest car in all of GTA, and it's also the best off-roader in the entire game. And for it to be removed and not purchasable for its, you know, whopping $30,000 price tag, absolutely unforgivable. We should be rioting. I might sue Rockstar Games. We'll have to see what happens. Hopefully the Canis Seminole at the very least gets reinstated onto Southern San Andreas Super Autos underneath the off-road category, but we'll have to see. Rockstar, you have been warned. My legal team is looking into all opportunities. You should definitely prepare for getting sued. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. These are the cars that I feel like are going to be the most missed in the GTA community for quite some time. Hopefully Rockstar goes back on what they've done here. I think that the community has made it very obvious what their feelings are about Rockstar removing these vehicles. I'd say as 99% of people are absolutely furious about it. So we'll have to see what happens. But anyway, guys, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.